Greetings, fellow Demon Slayers. This is Taimanin Mari here today with another Action Taimanin video. So, we have a new event. I've been hearing people say this event is really difficult. I actually agree in this matter. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, buffing or adding that high demon ninja. She's awful. But I managed to get through the event with Nui, with the gems. She actually managed to one-shot it, so who's a good girl. So what I'll do is I'll show you guys the gameplay for it. I've shared the build before, but I'll share it again, just so everyone knows, like if they haven't seen the previous videos. So, let's get over here and get it done. Event Hard 5. I really hate this boss fight, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna frickin' pre here. Okay. I've kind of just been tied to Shiranui's hip, like, lately, which isn't a bad thing. She needs love. Okay. We're gonna pop this now, so this dingus doesn't... Why are they so tanky in this event, too? That's another thing. Alright. So far, so good. Don't want any of that. Yeah, it's standing there rubbing his sword. Okay. How did... Oh my god, I hate that guy. Alright. Next room. Perfect. Ow. They really need to apply some sort of iframes when you're, like, ultimate dodging. Like, I literally got punished there for no reason. Like, I played right, I dodged, and that thing still hit me. Alright, here's the hard part. They, like, tell you it's gonna be Eater Creature Lord, and then there's just a ninja chilling right next to him, like, out of nowhere, and she just pops up. Or is she? There we go. I have to make sure that hits her, because she needs to get fried instantly. There's the sugar. Alright, this projectile, get my crit rate back. This. A little bit of this. And boom, there goes the dynamite. So that's how I do it with Shiranui. That run was really smooth, but I'll like full disclosure with you guys. Like, I've had some really terrible runs. Like, this time she actually managed to beat her time. I think my fastest was 1:31, but it usually takes 2 minutes if things start getting fishy. That ninja can really cause problems. So, screenshot that since I did better. We'll collect our rewards. Ooh, nice little clump there. That's not bad. Thank you, Shiranui. You did good today. First thing in the morning, you got it done. Let's see if I can get a little something on camera. Oop. Oop. Oh well. We'll be back when my AP recharges. So, Mama and her build. What is she doing? So of course, we're using the famous super rares that my Shiranui is known for. In the case of this event, since everything is a demon, at the beginning of the fight I actually did swap to the Vajra Scepter in case you guys missed that. The 80% damage is a huge boon, not just on Shiranui. She has her red Magas I made for her a while back that increase damage dealt to all enemies. Each Magatama she has that roll on it. So moving on from that, of course we're using Sogetsuin as our projectile with the increased critical rate that she gets. It pairs beautifully with her Sinquo, which we are also using. Sinquo is good because, for one, it heals her HP, it hits really hard, it applies a ranged attack, which works great with Spica, because Spica makes you deal more ranged critical damage. Also, the Sogetsuin will work great with Spica because it is actually a ranged attack. And then on top of that, the crit rate that you get from Sogetsuin pairs beautifully with Sinquo's final ability that increases critical damage by 250%. I can't believe that, like, I thought Sinquo was bad. when she first premiered is now like I can't see it using anything else. It's slowly becoming my favorite ability on her, and it's been able to help her shred things where she couldn't before. Outside of that, we are using our Ganaijin because clone is basically her bread and butter. Some people might prefer this Shinsen Shinshoku, where these spikes come from the ground. I think it's this ability, which is fine too, but I personally prefer the clone because then you can wombo combo and sandwich things, and it allows you to get to the enemy back and actually beat on it while the clone does things from the front. Or you can split up, and the clone can kill things by itself while you kill things, because with the increased damage that it does get from being a pure red build, it actually does have some pretty beefy hits. So, outside of that, supporters. Of course, we are running Spica. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Shiranui's a really weak character. She does need Spica for this really to work well. Homura and Renka are more accessible. Homura for the 30% all damage, of course, and Renka for the increased critical to melee attacks. If you do not have a Spica, you could simply use Faust for the increased critical, because that's the big perk we're getting from Spica is that she increases critical to melee and increases critical damage to range. So if you remove Spica, you can add Faust and then like make Renka or Homura the main, because you'll be getting the melee critical from Renka and you'll be getting the range critical from Faust that Spica would have like otherwise like been giving you in damage, because she gives critical range damage. So yeah, that's the best substitute I can think of, just to keep the build within critical parameters without using someone like Faust. I can't really like say what else I'd use. I'd guess maybe Yozora here, just to give her a little bit of sustain and a CC. I would stay away from Mari because her super armor doesn't really work that great. But outside of using Faust or using Yozora, those are the only two I could suggest. And again, Faust just because she keeps the build crit centric, like instead of range critical damage, you get critical rate. So you can kind of use your hybrid skills and have them critting. And Yozora just for sustain and extra CC. And that's basically it for like what I would do for Shiranui, but again, I highly suggest Spica, otherwise I wouldn't try the build, because she has very low priority on her attacks. Spica's invulnerability really helps her, and the crit rate, while being helpful, is more of a cherry on top, I guess you could say. So moving on from Shiranui, next we're going to look at other characters people may be interested in using. Now, for Asagi, you could essentially do like the same setup. You could run a Homura, a Renka, just like we're running on Shiranui. Instead of using Spica, in Asagi's case, you could run someone like Hibiki as the main. Is she available to even show? No, because I think she's on freaking Dispatch. I hate Dispatch. It really ruins making videos. Let me go to the gotcha screen for those who don't know what Hibiki does. Ultra Rare Supporter. Get in there. Okay, here she is. So this works really good with Asagi because Asagi's dodge causes a debuff when you Kojenka, I believe is the name of it. So she's gonna get that additional 20% even if the Hibiki's only S level 1. And since Asagi likes to basic attack all day and time stop enemies, she'll do great. And then Hibiki's ability further adds to her passive because her ability procs her own passive. So it would reduce enemy outgoing damage by 50%, deal some nice AoE damage up to 700% if she is max level, and then allow you to get the 20% from her passive. So that's what I would suggest doing on Asagi, something like Hibiki, something like Homura, and something like Renka. Outside of that, moving from that, we're going to look at our blue girls, so basically Renko and Sakura, and I don't know if these chicks like blue, but if any of them do, this will work for them. So we'll go to Renko, because I think she has some of the stuff on that we may be wanting to use. She does not, but it's fine. We're going to take off the Haruka. We're going to give her this Onigumo. Sakura has it. Of course Sakura has it. So in this case, You would want to put Onigumo as the main slot. If you do not have it, you could use something like Micah. Again, Micah's really not optimal, but Renko and both Sakura can spew debuffs. Renko likes to spew Groggy a lot, and Sakura likes to spew things like attack down and defense down and what have you if you have a rebellious weapon. So Micah can be a sub, so can Haru, who's also out on dispatch. Haru pretty much would work as a sub in the fact that her active does buff your attack and defense for a duration. So if you do not have something that's a permanent buff against demons like Onigumo, you can splash those in. Outside of that, we always have room for Mai in the slot. And in the final slot, you could put a Fuyumi on. Is she available at least? Yeah, she's right here. You could put Fuyumi on for the additional melee damage and additional reduction from melee. And if you don't have a Fuyumi, some good subs could also be things like a Suzune, or basically anything blue you could find. Like, the build isn't really too demanding or picky. The real boon that comes from running Blue Renko is that you can also slot this weapon, her ley line, which would again give her 80% additional damage against demons. Sakura doesn't have that, so Sakura would be relying more on the Onigumo. And in Sakura's case, you could also do like Onigumo and then Micah like we were doing on her, and then just have Fuyumi for the additional damage, or just throw on a Mai in case you don't actually have a Fuyumi. So that's pretty much it. Like, I haven't used Yuki in a while, but it's still the same basic green build I've always used on her. This just works everywhere. So if you have a Karuru and an Nanami from Christmas, they work well together. It adds to her sustain when she uses her Ryun, which has lifesteal on it, as well as increased critical damage, which would pair nicely with Kaoru's increased critical damage. On top of that, we're just using Momoko for the particle regen because I just don't have any of like the really good green supporters like Yuno or Tatsumi. I think she was green. So we keep Momoko on the bar. If you do not have Nanami or you missed the Christmas event, she's easily replaced by Shinjo Yuna. Where is she? Where's Miss Thighs? There she is. You could easily replace her with a Yuna, which is basically, I think everyone starts with a Yuna. So she's not hard to splash in, and she basically does the same thing as Nanami. Just she doesn't make health packs drop more often. And in Emily's case, I run Emily with red, of course. I showcased her build and explained like critical rate in depth, like last week. So, for anyone who missed that, I guess I'll throw that build in the description. But it's basically the same logic as Shiranui, where you just throw Spico on her, and you give her a Homura, and in this case, because she's predominantly ranged, you would give her a Faust. And she'll probably shred the event too. For all the other characters, like, I don't have them yet, because I've just, like, buckled down into this free-to-play saving mode. So I can't really, like, advise for them, but I can say, like, I know Kurenai likes her crit rate, and I know that Sue probably works really well with her new supporter, but that requires Gacha, and Gacha is unreliable. As far as Murasaki, I have no clue what she does in PvE. I'll have to talk to Ark about that. I'll maybe get together with him again and have him show his Murasaki, because she is actually insanely geared, and he geared her free to play. So I'm sure that'll like help out a lot of people playing her. But I only know what she does in PvP, and that is her tentacle build. I do not know how she works in PvE, so maybe I'll ask him for that, and that'll be a vid another day. Either way, that's the event hard gameplay as Shiranui. That's just some general tips for the other characters to help people out who may not have her, who may not want to play her. So with that, if you guys found it helpful or informative, please like and subscribe, as it really does help me out. I appreciate all the views and support I've been getting lately. Like, you guys have really been tuning in, and my view duration has kind of gone up by like tenfold in the past month. So I appreciate it. You guys keep watching. I'll keep making content, and it's really fun to do so. So with that, you boys and gals have a great rest of your day. May you have good luck in your gotchas and in the arena, and good luck polishing off the event. I hope you do get what you need. And you all go ahead and take care, and I'll catch you tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.